Welcome to the Star Wars Reporter podcast, the official podcast of StarWarsReporter.com. I am one of your hosts, Wookiee Steve, and I'm here with Wookiee. Actually, I'm going to become Hobo Steve if the barbers don't open soon because it's growing this way and not this way. So I'm gonna look scary soon. But with me tonight, thankfully, is Trooper Todd.
Hey, hello there. Actually, I can relate to the barber, Steve. Like my hair is getting really long, but I went for the Ben Kenobi look tonight. Trying to look a little mature, doing my Ben
like
Kenobi kind of beard. Yeah, and try to.
beard will
And
be with you.
I'm also joined by two friends. Maybe you know my two friends. I have Han Solo and Luke Skywalker.
I know those guys. I saw them in a movie one time.
Yeah, did you really? Yeah. So they're dressed for the winter weather, and there we go.
That's very cool. I'll take you.
Easy, relaxing music.
I know. I thought I feel like I don't want to say Johnny Fever because I'll date myself, but before
WKRP in Cincinnati, come on, great, one of the greatest sitcoms. Like that show, if you watch it today, it still can stand up. It's so good.
Oh, it's awesome. I'm sure it is. Yeah, I'm sure. But before we get started, just want to remind everyone to make sure that they follow us on our social media, which is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and of course, if you want to smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
And share the video and help get the word out. Of course, if you want to contact us, you can contact us at contact@StarWarsReporter.com. If you want to collaborate, have a promotion, news tip, or just want to say hi. And of course, if you want to, I'll bring this up here, go to our website.
There it is. Hey, look at you.
Yeah, check it out. Oops. All right. So this is our StarWarsReporter.com for all the latest news, podcasts, interviews.
So you're saying if they miss an episode, Steve, they can go back and watch it?
Can they?
Website? Wow.
Yes, they can. So yeah, so make sure everyone checks it out.
Please do.
So I'm playing with all the new buttons here. Okay.
We got a little jam in the background. It's like a
little jam.
Yeah.
Hey, we're everyone that's joining us in the chat right now. So far, we have Jeremy.
Jeremy's a big fan of the Hoth figures. So am I. I got them for Christmas for my family. This is my family got me, my wife and my kids. So I'm a big fan of the Hoth outfits. These are the Black Series stuff, of course. Black Series. They do excellent detail and stuff of that. And they're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Because Hoth is the best location in probably all cinematic history, quite frankly. And I'll say that. I feel confident saying that.
Wow.
Yeah. Best
I'm
location
sure
ever.
There's a lot of people right now agreeing with you because everyone's complaining about being that the only planet in the universe seems to be Tatooine with Star Wars right now. But hey, I like Tatooine, so I'm okay with it, but I kind of agree with people. So, but speaking of tonight's topic, episode 4 of the Book of Boba Fett, or chapter 4, The Gathering Storm.
The Gathering Storm.
So, what's that, foreshadowing or something?
Yeah, no, again, I feel so bad I couldn't join you and Adam last week for very long. I was only on for the first 20 minutes, but I missed that conversation. As we talked about, I liked episode 3, but I wasn't a big fan of the little Vespa scooters and stuff like that. So I was hoping for big things this episode to maybe cleanse the palate of that little speeder chase and those fancy little speeder bikes.
Yeah. I know. I wonder if sales of Vespas have gone up now with Star Wars fans.
Maybe.
Or gone down.
Maybe. I'm guessing the action figures of the little speeder bikes won't go well in stores. I wouldn't buy one.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be. I don't think Hasbro will be selling. No, I really hope they don't.
I hope. I'm sure they won't. Yeah, I'm sure they won't. Marketing will figure out.
So, okay, the episode opens again with a flashback, right?
Flashback, yes.
we go to Boba taking himself back to bath in bed, and he basically starts off where he's traveling to the palace, right? And he's checking it out, and there's just guards coming in and out. There's guards everywhere, right? And
It's
he's like,
busy, high
can't
traffic
do this,
location. Yeah.
can't do this, right? So he's got to come up with a plan. So this part here I thought was interesting. So while he's sitting there and he's eating, thinking of this plan, his bantha is like looking all hungry, and he throws it a piece of meat and it eats it. I always was under the impression that banthas were eat like vegetables or like bugs. I didn't know they were carnivores, or like
Well,
probably like us.
what vegetation's on Tatooine? I don't see a lot of vegetation in that
I
area, Steve.
know. I just thought of it. I thought, oh, okay.
I don't know what they eat because there's a lot of sand, but I must say, but I think it's really cool. I really enjoy this series, seeing a closer look at the banthas. Even though they're walking, how sweet. Again, this episode again, another great shot of Boba Fett going through the desert, riding his bantha, right? And then now
Right.
bonding with it and watching it eat and chew, and just how good it looks. You know what I'm saying? Like it looks really, really cool.
Yeah, all the geez, believe it or not, I didn't get a picture of that, but all the scenes where he's riding, like I can't wait for the behind the scenes to find out how they did that. I'm
How they
sure
did
it's
it.
CGI. They probably filmed, where he's just on a back of something, like something that's just does this or moves.
Do you remember back in the original Star Wars movie, what did they make banthas out of? Elephants, right? They cover up elephants, right? But this is not an elephant. Like I don't know what they're doing, but man, it looks fantastic. It looks real. Like later on in the episode, when he sets it free. I'm sure we'll talk about it later on. But when he sets it free and it kind of turns around, and walks away, how good it looks. I'm like, as a filmmaker, I'm analyzing how do they make it look so good? Like, what do they like? I can't tell if it's the people in costume, if it's a puppetry, if it's CG. If it's CGI, it looks so real in that environment. It's like it looks fantastic.
Oh, it's just solid. It really is. I mean, even here, of course, in the dark you can get away with a lot, but it just I think what we're seeing there is practical, so it's probably some mechanical thing right here.
Yeah, puppetry probably, yeah. But again, still, you're trying to sell the illusion, and I think it works. I'm buying in. It looks great. I think it looks like a creature that's the skin looks a little dry. It looks like it's in the sun all the time. Looks like it's in this desert. Again, I can believe it more than speeder bikes that are so shiny in Tatooine.
Yeah. I think. Oh man.
Yeah.
And we'll be getting to that too, because they make kind of a or the culture makes another brief, what do you call that, brief appearance.
Yes, exactly.
That kind of hurts my brain, but so from there, so you remember, so he's hanging out, he's chilling, he's eating with his bantha, and then all the flares in the distance, right, which is again tying back into the Mandalorian. So it's that he goes to investigate, and it turns out, you remember when Fennec was trying to kill them, and they ended up killing her,
shooting her up in the chest.
So then he comes across her, right? And I was just thinking about this. In the Mandalorian, was he not wearing spurs, or there was a spurs sound when he was walking? Because here he's not wearing spurs, or there isn't the sound. I could be wrong.
He doesn't have spurs on. Well, I guess that's with the armor, though, right? He doesn't have his armor at that point in time.
Right? Yeah. So regarding the bantha, right? Jeremy's comment is, didn't we all buy into puppetry back in the day too? The use of the style of special effects is what makes the new Star Wars awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like and you're right, we did buy it. But you look at Mos Eisley, a lot of the aliens, they're just like static mass. They didn't have moving parts to their face, right? Some did, some didn't, right? Like Walrus Man, even today, which I really respect. The Walrus Man species, they're not trying to make their mouths or anything move, right? They're the same kind of face, and I like the fact they're not changing what they look like and how they talked.
Right. So of course we revisit the Mandalorian, right? The Fennec Shand. He finds her, and then we have the scene again. Like there's a lot of it's. I find the scenes where the banthas are just walking very relaxing.
You, you know, Steve, I was going to say that earlier. When I watch westerns, the one thing I hate most about westerns is cowboys riding on their horses just for the sake of showing cowboys riding their horses through the
Yeah,
desert. Hate it. John Favreau directed Cowboys versus Aliens, and they brought it there, and I'm like, oh, I just hate this. But for some reason, when the characters are riding banthas, I'm all in. I go, oh, look how good. Maybe because it's a bantha, not a stupid horse. I'm just more into it.
yeah. It just seems like it. Even Boba looks like he's relaxing when he's on. He's just kind of like do to do. He's got this sway to him, and he looks very, very relaxed. So, and they must go so slow, but I guess it's
Oh,
better than walking.
so yeah, because you're walking, you're expending a lot of energy and heat. You know, this way you're sitting down getting hot, but you're not expending energy, right? So I imagine it's much better for you. But don't you think Hasbro's missing an opportunity about making a bantha now?
I'm not sure if they do.
I think
But
I think it's a missed opportunity. I think I'd buy one now.
oh, definitely. I'm hoping that they have, because they had banthas back in our day, didn't they? Like they
I don't remember a bantha toy. Maybe Jeremy knows. When Jeremy's who's watching us right now. Do you
yeah,
remember a bantha toy? I don't remember seeing a bantha toy at all. I remember seeing a tauntaun. I remember
the
seeing the
tauntaun.
I remember seeing the lizard creatures the stormtroopers are riding. I can't remember what
Yeah,
those are
you're
called.
right.
They had those, but I don't remember seeing a bantha.
The bantha, because they could do that, right? They could do the same thing they do with the tauntaun. You take the figure, you just jam it its back.
Yeah, they jump in the back. Yeah, that's you put the legs inside it, just give the appearance of it
That would
riding it.
work.
Yeah, that would
I would
work for
love that.
sure.
I
But
would
now
love
the
a
characters
bantha.
are more. The characters have legs that move and stuff like that, so you could actually separate the legs and stick
Yeah,
them
yeah,
on.
that's right. I think
See,
yeah,
Jeremy. Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. I'm pretty sure there's been no bantha toy. Steve, one thing there's a lot of
that's
things
too bad.
I don't have, but one thing I have is a really good memory, and I think I remember a bantha toy.
Well, I want one, and if they get one, it's going to be a display for sure.
Absolutely, right?
They
Yeah,
have to do that.
it can go right next to my Millennium Falcon right there. There's a space for it, like right like there, a
Yeah,
little
wait a minute.
empty space.
It's the real Millennium
It's
Falcon.
the real
It's from
Millennium Falcon 19. I think it was 1986 Millennium Falcon, right there, original release, right there. Yeah,
but it
but
was
Bantha
earlier
go
than
right
that,
next.
wasn't it? It was Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, so when I'd have to look at when it was released. It's 85. No, it would be before that. You're right. Yeah, because it would be
Yeah, it was
because
like
Star Wars came in
80 or something,
77. So yeah,
wasn't
maybe it was 83, 82. I
it?
can't
Yeah.
remember exactly when. A long time ago, Steve,
It was,
in a town far away.
yeah, we were kind of on a Tatooine where we were, where we just snow. Well, I guess it'd be Hoth. It'd be Hoth.
Yes.
Okay, so he takes his relaxing ride with a half dead Fennec, and he goes to kind of
Ugh.
this modder place, where they do
Ugh.
body modifications, and of course we run into one of these
Yeah, these
modder
guys.
kids again.
These guys, Steve, I don't know what they were thinking. I know John Favreau wrote the show, and I don't know who's the big creative director. Like this again, my complaint last week before I left was just how clean they look and how proper they look. Nothing in Tatooine is clean and spotless. These guys were all decked out. Their clothes look fantastic, look pressed, washed, and everything's so clean. What?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
even Luke Skywalker got his robotic hand. Didn't look as clean as this. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know, I
It
know.
doesn't have to look so clean. I
Let's
think that's where
comment
that's where.
about your Millennium Falcon, by the way.
Oh yeah, so yeah, the grill pieces, yeah, no problem, right? Like, absolutely. It was in
Yeah.
mint condition till my cat knocked off a high shelf and it broke a little corner of
Oh,
yeah, just a little,
wow.
yeah. But,
And that was the last time the cat was seen again.
he's not with
Um,
us anymore.
uh, so I only took one photo of these guys
Thank you.
because there's a few because I just couldn't do anymore. Like this picture here says it all.
So
Says it all.
again, if I'm a person, why would I want to do that to my eyes? You know what I'm
I
saying?
know.
What's the purpose to it? Like, why? I'm going to do this to my eyes. Who would do that?
So apparently the modders are like, this is their thing. Like, so they don't make, like, when Luke lost a hand or anyone loses a hand, they try to make it look
Yes.
whatever. but they're proud of it. It's kind of, I would compare it to someone with a whole bunch of face piercings.
Okay.
Like, why
Okay.
would you do that? So it's kind of a,
Oh,
it's for the aesthetic of it and getting into it. So getting further into it, it talks more. So they go in. The modern guy is this guy who's the actor's name is actually Thundercat. I was telling Todd before that.
of course it is.
So it's this whole, all these scenes with these characters in it seem so Earth, like modern day
Yeah,
pop culture, and it really bugs me. It takes me out of the show and out of the Star Wars universe.
I agree 100%, Steve. Like they don't feel like they belong. Again, the bantha looks real. It feels like it belongs. Every ship in Star Wars feels like it belongs. This
Yeah.
group does not feel like it belongs. Again, if they're on Naboo, I buy it. I
Mhm.
don't buy it on Tatooine. Naboo is
Yeah.
everything's shiny, polished. You know what I'm saying? It had that look. Everything's round. Everything's everything else is
Yeah.
square, bulky, dirty, rusty, scraped up. Don't buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I
No,
agree with you. Takes me out of the show, absolutely.
I'm not down with this. And I was making notes on this, right? So he comes in and everyone's got this attitude. I get it. And he's like, I need help. And he's like, you need to make an appointment. Now, Boba Fett back in the day, the perception was he'd probably like smash everyone around and just say, do it. But here he's like, here's a whole load of money. And then he's like, okay, I'll do it. And then they go into this Matrix montage, like Matrix music montage of him fixing Fennec Shand. And I pointed this to you out before we went live, Todd. This is the thing that makes me, I don't even know what to say. So this part here where he's modding Fennec Shand, he left all her clothes on and just cut into where he was fixing her.
Yes.
Makes no sense. Like, you would take people's the clothes away so you could work on this person, and it just looks like he even like look, it looks like it's tucked and stuff. It's so weird. And
It,
he I wanted to say he made mention of it, like Boba Fett's like, aren't you going to cover that up? And he's like, no, why would I cover up my art?
yes.
So that explains why they have all these gaudy things on them too.
Yes. So that makes perfect sense too. And I know why they did it like this, Steve, because as you can clearly see, selling a prosthetic body is much
Yeah.
easier to believe when it's covered in a uniform opposed to real skin. Right, the whole neckline and blending that in with the body, it's much harder to do when you're trying to save on time. This is what you do, right?
Yeah,
They're
it's
cutting
just
corners. Basically, they're
weird.
cutting corners. Yeah, it's very, very weird.
But it
And what?
wouldn't.
And he's Jeremy. Jeremy actually, I thought brought a good point there. Like you said, the lower levels of Coruscant.
Yeah,
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 I would buy
definitely.
that too, Jeremy. Yes, I makes sense too. The lower levels of Coruscant, I agree with you 100%. That's where the biker gang would fit in for sure.
But going back to this picture here, though, um, it like it wouldn't cost a lot to have her with sheets on her, with just her stomach
Oh
exposed.
yeah, absolutely. You're right. They could just cover the body right to the neck with sheets. Absolutely.
It's just so funny.
You bring up a really good point. See, again, we're talking about a dip in the show's attention span, and that's where it is. Where it failed because
Right.
you're not buying it. I'm not buying it. I don't think we're the only two people not buying this scenario. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't fit.
It takes me out.
Yeah.
The scenes that they're in it like this took me out.
Yeah.
I was kind
100%.
of I wasn't even laughing because I was just like,
Like,
I was like, I think I put my head back on my couch. I was just like, oh my god, seriously, these kids. But so
yeah, I'm hoping. See,
yeah,
what it feels like to me is this scene. I'm in the Vespa speeder bikes, and I'm again. Now I'm the biggest Robert Rodriguez fan out there. I challenge anyone to if they think they like Robert Rodriguez more than me. But sometimes when he makes movies, he goes to Spy Kids, and the Vespa speeder bikes scene. That scene, it feels very Spy Kids to me. Just the flavor and the feel and how he's putting together. He's just like Spy Kids. It's one of his. He again love the Spy Kids movies. The first three. I grew up watching with my kids, but they're a little more quick and dirty opposed to making a movie. So that's how I felt that scene and the speeder bike chase.
yeah, yeah. you know, maybe a lot of the money is going elsewhere, but
Well, again, that train hijack scene looked fantastic.
yes.
But again, and Robert Rodriguez did not direct this episode, so that's. But yeah, I thought the sequence of them doing the work on her and all the cuts and stuff was very janky. Like I'm a trained editor. I think one of my greatest skills I have is editing, and man, that was a nasty scene. Like it was like, to me, it looked very, very rough. Like just really, very, how do I say, green, amateurish sort of thing. I really thought like, wow, like they could have called me. I'll edit that scene for them because I thought it really just didn't come together really well at all.
Yeah, it was something else. So you know, the next scene, it's Fennec and Boba around the campfire. Well, she wakes up, right?
Yeah.
And she's all confused. There she is. She's all confused, and he explains kind of like she was horrified when she saw it, of course.
Yes, of course.
And he gives her one of those little the Tuscan sodas.
Yeah.
And he made an interesting comment. He was like, she tastes it. She's like, oh, and he's like, yeah, you get used to it, but once you do, they're addictive.
Yeah, as he said, you'll crave it or something like that.
Crave
he said,
it, yes,
yeah, you'll
yeah.
crave it. Like so, he's saying like you have it now. It's nasty, but your body's going to crave it, like something like that. Like oh, okay. But what are you going to do? You're on Tatooine. You're thirsty, I'm sure.
And you know, he kind of goes on telling her his story. Oh, and this is what I want to say, where when she wakes up, he's like, oh, you're the master assassin, Fennec Shand. And she's like, you know, who are you? And he says it, he goes, I am Boba Fett. And how he says it is it reminds me exactly on the Star Wars holiday special from the 70s. The animation.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yes.
When you first meet him.
Yes, right.
I don't remember if he was like, he'd never introduced himself in any other show because he was just Boba Fett.
No, he says I'm Boba Fett. I remember that. Yes,
but he says that, how he says that, and he introduces himself, I think, at least twice in this episode.
Yeah,
the same
and he
way.
says it pretty much the exact way he does in the animation show, doesn't he?
Animation, and people, if you don't believe me, go watch it on Disney Plus. Not the holiday special; it's not there.
The vintage though, yeah, the vintage one. It's like
the animated. It's called the.
Yeah.
Is it the
Some of the
Wookiee or something?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. As soon as he said it, it just sparked that memory in my head, and I was like, "That's from the animation."
I clearly hear it in my head. I know a lot of it. We know that Jon Favreau is a big fan of the animation. That animation
yes.
Of the holiday special, period, but also the animation, because obviously, let's face it, that animation is what inspired him to do the Mandalorian. Quite frankly.
Well, he said in an interview one time, it was like one of these red carpet things, that he would love to do a modern day holiday special like that. Campy, the whole bit. I don't know if he said campy, but he would like to do something similar. And I hope he would do it campy. I hope he would do it like that, just not as long and with all the weird choices in the episode, like creepy old man choices. But yeah, I would love for him to do it just to make everyone flip out.
Well, you better hurry, because I hear that James Gunn is doing a holiday special for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
so he might miss the boat. Yeah, James Gunn. He's doing a holiday. I've heard so much about it. They're doing a holiday Guardians of the Galaxy.
Really?
So, yeah. So apparently he did Peacekeeper. Like I don't know if he did Suicide Squad. Then he did a 6-part miniseries called Peacekeeper. Sorry, Peacemaker. If you're not watching Peacemaker, you got to watch it. It's hilarious. But then, yeah, apparently he's doing a holiday special and making Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Didn't he also mention?
Right.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. What's that say? So, didn't he also mention riding a bigger beast? Yeah, he did. Then a Rancor last episode, referring to the giant dinosaur. Yeah, definitely that he rode that.
Oh, I totally forgot about that too.
That's right.
So they're saying the animation's canon.
Oh, well, as soon as it hit Disney Plus, it's canon. Right? So the animation, all the Ewok stuff, it's absolutely canon.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I just thought that was just a little thing they did. I didn't realize it was that's Now that's like I tip my hat off even more. That's much respect. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
never even I totally forgot he was riding a big huge creature.
Yeah, it was that he was kind of zapping it and stuff even.
Yeah, which makes perfect sense why he wants to ride the Rancor. Oh, it's just all coming together now. That's amazing. Nice job, Jeremy. Big investigative reporting there, right there. Job.
Well, if you look at in I think it was the Mandalorian, uh, when Kuel was trying to show Mando how to ride that little, I forget what they're called,
Yes. The
and he
little
kept falling off, and he's like, "Didn't your people used to tame the?" It was like it wasn't like the crate, wasn't it? It was some kind of giant
Yeah,
beast
I
or
can't remember
something
what
like
the
this.
beast was called, but yes, I do remember. Oh, you know what? When I watched the Battle of Endor, the second Ewok movie, it had those little riding creatures from
Yes,
Mandalorian in it.
yeah, they
I was like,
did.
I was watching, I was like, holy crap! Like, I had no idea they took it from the Endor movie. It's like that was another one. It's like mind blowing. The fact that again, another thing I was going like, holy crap! Filoni and Jon Favreau, what they're doing is so
Yeah,
amazing.
they're like
Like
kids playing with their toys, right?
exactly. This is it's like those little. I sent you those pictures, right? With those two kids playing little Star Wars figures,
Yeah,
right? It's Filoni and Favreau figuring out how to do Mandalorian, right? Or
yeah,
yeah, it's just so cool.
it's exactly that. So, but okay, so
You're back to the story, right? Yeah.
yeah. So he convinces her to kind of help him, and so she's got this device. Remember when? Well, I guess Boba Fett doesn't have anything; he lost everything, but he used to have devices. So, anyways, she has this little probe. It sneaks in and just basically flies around. They're just waiting around while it's flying around,
Yeah.
mapping out who's in
Mapping
there
up
and
the
whatever.
yeah.
Kind of remind me of that Prometheus.
Prometheus, that's exactly what a
Right.
little bit different, but yeah, very, very similar. Or
Very different.
it could be what they use in Incredibles. What's his name? Used in Incredibles too.
Right. And I think it was something like this in Clone Wars. But um so basically it comes back with the map. They're like, because I'm thinking he must know the layout. He used to work there of the
Yes.
palace. He just wants to know where the ship is.
Well, you want to know where the people were too,
Yeah, that's true.
right? Like you want to know how many people they were going to be dealing with, because inside you can't tell, right? That was my understanding what they're trying to do. They're mapping out. Okay, this is their
Right.
course of action. These are the people. This is how many people we have to expect. What do we have to do? That's
Right.
yeah.
So then they ended up I was watching someone talk about this. So they ended up breaking it by finding this grate, right? That's kind of like you could even see it from the hill. There's light coming through it. There's no one guarding it. There's no cameras, and they just cut into the grate and walk in. I know they have time to think about, right? You know what I mean, for the episode. So
Yeah.
I just thought it was very easy for them to get in. So I just thought someone was really funny. She's got this little cutter that comes into play a few times in this episode. So
Right.
and they kind of make it to the
Oh,
to
I
the kitchen.
forgot about this part, Steve. This was so good.
This was
I thought that's hilarious.
Do you notice the droid on the right?
Yes, I do. That's the one the torturing device robot.
Yeah, from the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
It
yeah. He
even
was
used
like,
the same voice.
yeah. Oh, I know. That's why I was like, oh, I used the same voice. It's so cool.
So cool. So he comes over because he hears something. He thinks it's rats, right? So they're gonna
Yeah, yeah. I was
get
right.
the
Thought,
rat guy,
yeah, that's right. They won the rat killer or something.
the rat
Bought come
killer.
out. Yeah,
So then I think it was Fennec kills him or something. Or
yeah.
anyways, he loses his head, and it was so funny. This guy here,
That guy was hilarious.
he turns into General Grievous, right? With the
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
spinning blades.
Well, actually, Fennec killed him. She came behind him with that little laser thing, cut off his head.
Oh, right. And it was Boba
Yeah.
killed the other one.
But I didn't even pick up on General Grievous. But that was like I was just laughing because all the meat cleavers and stuff flying around.
That's what
But
Grievous did with the
yeah,
lightsabers.
I saw somebody post something about the General Grievous. I'm like, I don't get it. I was like, now I get it. Again, I've been sick all week and I've got very little sleep, but I'm piecing it together now. That's hilarious.
And then the other droid from the episode was this mouse catching droid.
Yes.
Was kind of
rat catcher or whatever.
The rat catcher. It was kind of this part with Boba Fett chasing around the table is kind of goofy for me. I just thought
that's
like,
what that.
And she's like, "I'll watch the door," and then he's like, "Oh, get back here!" And I thought,
yeah, see, that's where I'm going
juvenile.
again. Spy Kids. right? It's hitting all the kids, and that's why I'm going. Like
Yeah.
again, talking about taking you out of the moment. That took me out of the moment too. It's just like I just don't like. Yeah, it's just Boba Fett like chasing around that. Yeah, I
He's kind
agree.
of like, ow, oh, and he hits himself or something at one point. He's like,
Yeah,
ow, get here.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that really did take me out, but it was like,
And Jeremy's
okay.
right.
And
It's
then
cool looking, but yes.
I thought it was kind of funny in the way where he catches it and it's saying something to him, and he's like, I am Boba Fett. He does that again,
Yeah.
and it
Well, that's right. Yeah.
turns itself off, right? Because
Yeah.
he's like, oh,
I'm
turns
scared,
itself
so I'm
off.
turning
It's
myself
like,
off because you know the
okay,
name. Yes, but yeah.
I
I could
know.
have done. They could have done without that scene. But again, John Favreau did write the episode. Just so we have to make sure he did write it. So I'm sure that was in the script.
he is still he is still the Star Wars Messiah. You know, he's
Yeah.
still going
Yeah.
to. That's what I keep
There
saying. He's still going to save it. He's still going to save it.
they're going to be creative choices being made sometimes, and maybe they're getting pressure from upper people saying let's make it more kid friendly. Right, we'll sell more
You know, the
toys.
thing though, Star Wars, when we saw it, like the original trilogy and stuff, it I know Lucas had said, oh, it was made for 12-year-olds and stuff like this.
Yep.
But it's funny how all adults loved it at the same time,
Yep.
because Lucas didn't write it talking down to kids.
No, we didn't
He just
exactly. Yeah.
wrote it, and kids liked stuff from it. Adults, it's like watching cartoons or shows with your kids growing up.
Yep.
Some of the shows, like let's look at Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
Like kids can watch that and they're like, hee, the characters are bouncing around, but we get the humor.
Yes. No, that's exactly it, right? They wrote for everybody, not just kids. And that's
Yes.
why I find this series, especially these last two episodes, there's a couple scenes where they're really dumbing it down for kids only. And that's why like you're saying, takes you out of the moment. Yes.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's the last of the hiccups this episode, I think.
yeah. So they get to the hangar finally, and there it is, right? Everyone gets to see, and
Fire
he already
spray.
named it his fire spray, right? The whole controversy where it's Slave One, and then Disney changed the name. Apparently, I don't know if it's official. It sort of is because it was in a book, to the fire spray, but it's a fire spray model starship. So I think they're getting around it that way
I see what they're doing. Yeah,
for
I get
both,
you. Yeah, yeah,
because he
yeah,
says we have to get my fire spray,
yeah.
but that's the ship. It's like if Han Solo said my YT 1300 transport,
Right,
same thing,
right. It's just they're just not using the nickname anymore.
right?
Right? That's all.
So, okay, where are we here? So they're in the hangar. That's when all hell breaks loose. All of a sudden, all the Gamorreans woke up and everyone's coming in,
Oh,
shooting and
and
blasting.
I'm sorry. Thank you. You mentioned Gamorrean. How great was it to see fat Gamorreans again?
I
Huh?
liked it.
Jeremy, come on, fat Gamorreans, way better than skinny Gamorreans, aren't they? They had the big outfits on too. The brown outfits and the
Yes,
furry little
the fur.
I love the outfits. I love the fat Gamorreans. They look like, not that I don't like the skinny ones. It's just more pleasing to the eye, I find.
Yes.
And they had the big battle axes too, right? This episode they had the big.
Yes.
It looks so good.
There was one Gamorrean that they snuck by, and he was just, or it was in the hallway standing on guard, and I forgot to take a picture of it, but it felt like it wasn't finished. Whoever was doing they must have ran out of. It looked like it was loose here, and the eyes were too deep,
Oh,
like
maybe,
the
yeah.
mask.
I see what you're
I
saying. Yeah, I didn't notice it myself, but
Yeah.
see, Jeremy loved it too. Who didn't love it? The Gamorreans, right? Yeah.
Yeah, way more classic look. So the whole, hell breaks loose. Boba Fett's gonna run to the ship to get it started. Fennec's going to hold everyone off, and they're blasting and martial arts, and old man Boba Fett's inside trying to get the vehicle
Get
going.
his scooter started.
I'm it kind of, there was times in this where I just thought, why is Boba Fett even here right now? Like it was just kind of funny that way, right? So she's
Yeah.
kicking butt, and there's this one scene. There was with the gonk droid.
Oh, the
It's
gonk droid. Yes, guys, Steve. I know how you love your gonk droids.
But this one here is a plunk,
Oh,
PLNK. So it's kind of a
s-
different version. It's like battery, and it's funny. There's a Facebook group, the Gonk Builders Facebook group that I joined because I met some people at the Fan Expo,
Right.
and there was these builders, and they're like, build one of these. It's the easiest thing to get into it because it's just they're those containers, plastic storage containers. And if you look at it, it's two large 50-gallon containers stuck together, painted with hydraulics. And in that group, someone said, "That's mine. I
Oh,
made that."
really?
So he was pretty
Shut
excited.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
If you,
And he goes out with a bang.
And he goes out, so she uses it as an explosion. She shoots him, and he blows up. So if we can all just take a moment, let's all take a moment.
The real hero of episode 4, right there. Yes, the plunk droid.
The plunk droid. It was really good. So I mean, look, he because of him, they kill like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 there. Okay, so
yeah, I just want to, while we're in this scene right here, not only do I appreciate seeing the Gamorrean guards, but throughout the episode around Jabba's palace, you see a lot of the classic looked henchmen from Jabba's from Return of the Jedi, like the guy with the pruny face and the little scarves, or like you see a lot of the classic guys you see in Return of the Jedi. That the look of them, again, that was really cool seeing these characters or these that species again, sort of thing, right? Really thought that was cool. Not just seeing Gamorreans, but seeing other species that's really familiar.
Yes.
We always remember
Plunk. We remember.
Yeah.
Remember the Plunk. So yeah, I mean, so they get the ship out, which is such a weird design. Someone I was listening to talk about it, and they were like, there is the shortcomings of the ship because of how it's designed, where he couldn't get out of a small space. Like it was hard for him to see, and it could have used an automatic blaster like Han Solo's Millennium Falcon, right? When he was getting the ship going, that light blaster came out and started shooting the stormtroopers. They could have used one of those, right?
Well, I remember seeing the Slave One when it came out, Empire Strikes Back, right? And I remember like, oh, I didn't really care for the design too much. But as time went on, like if you play Battlefront and you get to fly Slave One, whoa!
Someone said that in one of these videos I watched.
It's so much fun. So I've like one thing I thought the prequels did a really good job was showing Slave One in action. Like because in Return of the original trilogy, you didn't see Slave One do jack squat. But you see that like how fast it shoots. Like that's why I can see why they call it fire spray, because it just lays a spray of fire, right? And then of course well, we'll get to the other stuff it does later on. But yes, I thought the episode was very slow. Not that I didn't enjoy it; it was just much slower than any other episodes leading to this point. This is where I thought this episode really started picking up.
Right. I wanted to go back a little bit. There was a comment when they were talking before going in, while they were waiting for the drone to come back, and him saying he needed her help, and he had made a comment which was funny. It was like, without his armor, he's less persuasive. I thought it was cool. He also confirmed in this episode that his armor is Beskar, and that's been the thing.
Yes, he does. That's right.
Yeah, that's been the thing fans have fought over.
I do remember that being mentioned, and which is kind of cool. That's why he didn't go in the first time when he's checking out Jabba's palace, because he knows he's not the man he's not the man he was without the armor. Like the armor, he knows, he relies heavily on the armor. The armor makes Boba Fett,
definitely.
Sort of thing, right? He knows the shortcomings.
Yeah.
Exactly. He knows the shortcomings. Like, exactly, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is a kind of neat little tactic. Like, I'm gonna go in there no matter what because I'm Boba Fett. Well, no, I'm not Boba Fett with my armor. So it's kind of little aspects, where a touch of reality sets in, sort of thing, and he admits it, sort of thing.
Not to mention the fact that everyone is probably familiar with the style of his armor, like how it looks. So just the presence of it probably takes people aback.
Yeah.
Also, the reputation of Mandalorians, probably like in the Mandalorian, that one episode where they hook up with Bo-Katan and all them, and there's like 4 in total, and someone's like, "That's not a good sign." Like, that many Mandalorians in one room. What is going on?
Yeah.
Since the fall of Mandalore. But
yeah, well, they have a reputation, right? Yeah.
So I mean, Boba Fett's plan now. He's got some unfinished business, right?
Oh, this part. I love this part. Now, I'm sure we're talking about the speeder bikes that appear in this episode. Steve, that we're going to next.
We're talking about this. Pew,
oh,
pew.
This part was so cool. When I saw the speeder bikes going, oh, they're really going to do this. They're really going to like. Isn't it weird how it goes from we're talking about it looks really kid. They're doing some kiddie stuff. Yeah. That scene's not kiddie at all.
Boom, boom, boom.
That was so good.
Yeah, he was very, very happy about this scene. And visually, this looks so solid.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like compared to that speeder bike chase, how come this looks so good and that didn't look so good? You know what I'm saying? This looked fantastic.
Yeah.
I love this scene. As short as it was, and it doesn't need to be longer than what it is. But the speed those speeder bikes were getting, how fast was that scene? It was so good. They're flying, and when they're blowing up, you see the guy in the air, and he hits the sand, and he's rolling. It was it just again looked gorgeous. I loved it. As soon as I saw the speeder bike scene, I went, "Oh my goodness me, he's gonna wipe him out." You're trying to visualize what it's gonna look like, and it did not disappoint at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that was so good. So that was his thing. He was enjoying himself doing that. And then his other business was to go to the Sarlacc and get his armor back. And I thought it was interesting. He didn't remember the fact that he got out with it, right?
Right.
So he gets there, and it's so cool how he did this. And again, the shortcoming of this ship is he actually brings the ship down right, where the glass is right over top as close as you can to the opening of the Sarlacc, which I thought was really, really funny.
But he passed out when he got out, right? You know what I'm saying? When he got out of the Sarlacc, he passed out right there and then, didn't he?
Yeah.
So that's why he thought the armor was still there. He woke up. He didn't know the Jawas took it.
So yeah, and Fennec's like, it's gone. It's gone. It's in the Sarlacc. It's been eaten or whatever. And I thought it was funny. And then the Sarlacc fights back. I didn't realize how strong that thing was because it grabs onto the ship, one of the tentacles, and is pulling it in. And you get great visuals. I didn't get the photos here of the beak and the teeth inside. And it was very, very cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool. And it's just two tentacles holding it down and pulling it in. And when the beak comes up on the windshield. And this is where I thought was really cool. It showed the secondary weapons of
right. So the alarm's going off. And this is where I thought this should have been something that Boba did instead. I know he was flying. And he hasn't done much of anything physical in this. He's had two fights, one of which he had to be carried home. That was in the first episode.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He hasn't. Fennec's had the cool martial art blaster scenes, the cool chase over the rooftop, the cool this, the cool that. And we have old man Boba doing this in a ship. And she pops off her seatbelt, I guess that's what you call them, seatbelt, jumps up and releases this seismic charge that you saw from the prequels.
Yes, that's one of the coolest weapons in Star Wars. I remember seeing that. I believe that was in episode 2, wasn't it? The chase
between
chasing Obi-Wan, right? Just the sonic charge when they went off, and just
that sound.
Yeah, the sound, and that's what and how everything goes quiet when it goes off, right? It's just so good, and it looks so. But this time it happens under the sand, obviously decimating.
So it goes in, he catches it in his mouth and his beak, and then boom. And that's it for the Sarlacc, man. The Sarlacc is dead.
Done.
The great Sarlacc.
He won't be causing any more problems anymore.
Well, there's a lot of sad gangsters out there not knowing how they're going to creatively kill people. Thanks to Boba Fett.
I know, right? Geez.
Yeah, I thought it was,
well, technically it's Fennec Shand. She pressed the button. And he did say, don't touch my buttons afterwards.
I know. I just wish he would have one cool scene. He only used his jetpack even once, and it was half a second. You see him land from the last episode. And I'm like, what is he doing, man? The sonic charge.
But again, if he's the leader, he doesn't have to do the work. That's what he's paying everybody else for. Steve, come on.
Yeah, you still have it in you. I'm just wondering if the actor doesn't have it in him to do some of the physical scenes.
They would. He wear a mask. You get a stuntman.
No, I know they could do that, but I just think he should have been the one to have at least seen, like, oh yeah,
Well,
the greatest weapon on my ship.
I don't know why he didn't press that. That again, if you're looking at shortcomings, I don't know why. Like, why is the button so far away to reach for him? You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
know it was far. It could have
like,
been. I don't know.
that's again, we're looking at it's small potatoes, but again, when it takes you out of the moment, this is what you talk about, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and unfortunately, the last 2 episodes, there's been things taking us out of the episodes.
Mhm.
Hopefully,
Well, it's just
chapter.
little things, right? Like I'm not overall. It's still great. It's just when you see little picky things. Like I'm not picky. Like, oh, the uniform. It's usually red here, not
Yeah,
auburn
no,
or something. Like I don't get into that
no,
nitpicky. But I just kind of I'm looking. I was because I watched the episode a few times, and I'm like, he could have did that. He could have did that. You know what I mean? At least
yeah,
split
no,
it up if you're going to do it.
no, I hear you.
I
I hear
find
you
it
100%.
weird.
It is weird when he's the pilot and it's right above him, and technically the button, like, and he's in any kind of you know star battle, like in a space battle. He should be able to press that button easily, don't you think? Like,
Yeah.
he should have undo a seatbelt, press it in the middle of a gunfight, a space battle, right? So,
Well, he dropped two or three of them in episode 2. So,
well, it was his dad. It was his dad.
oh, sorry, his
Yeah,
dad
come
who was
on, see, come
piloting.
on, it's his dad, it's Django. Come on.
Uh, yeah. So I just, you know what I mean, and the escape in the hangar, how they were acting. Like I see what they were going with there, where they were doing that funny moment, like with Han Solo trying
Yeah,
to get somewhere, get the ship out of, and him and Leia were at each other.
yeah,
They were
yeah,
kind of doing the
exactly.
same thing here. That worked. This
Yeah.
seemed off, where he could have went, oh, I've got an idea.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's not clean. It wasn't clean.
Right.
It's still enjoyable. Just sometimes you try things when it comes to movie productions. Sometimes on paper it looks good. Sometimes you don't pull it off. Whether it's your shooting, whether it's the performance, whether it's
Yeah.
the editing. Sometimes it falls. You watch movies where they do a joke and it falls flat, right? Just like, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, like, watch
Yeah.
Will Ferrell. I dare you to watch Will Ferrell's Sherlock Holmes. The whole movie.
Oh no.
The
No
whole
thanks.
movie. There's only one funny part in the whole. Everything else is so bad. So sometimes things don't stick, and I just think that's one of those things where it didn't stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
It happens.
So this is where kind of his plans come out here. They're having a nice little campfire again in the desert with a ship, and this is where he basically asks Fennec, like, to kind of help him out, be quote, be his brains and muscle,
Right.
because he has neither, and kind of he said to share, not partners, but to share in the
Yes.
profits. So
Exactly.
would be like I forget what they call them, like mafia stuff, like
Well, I don't think
right
he's
hand.
greedy. Like, I think he learned through the Sand People. He's not greedy like maybe he once was as a hunter, right? Like, where it's all about profit.
Right.
Now I think he learned the value of sharing when it comes to Sand People, right?
Oh
So,
yeah, no,
like,
no, definitely.
okay,
Like,
yeah,
because when he's hiring someone, so your second in command, or is going to
yeah,
be getting some profits of whatever they're doing, and
yeah.
that's what he's doing. He's recruiting her, like how it probably
He,
happened with him and everyone else in that job as a room there.
yeah. What he's doing, he's building his own tribe.
Oh
That's what
yeah,
he's doing,
definitely.
right? That's like, he's doing exactly what the Sand People are doing, or did, that he learned from. He's building his community, his tribe, his, like, it's all about sharing. And he's not, like, yeah.
Right.
So it was just kind of neat. It's running very parallel from who he's learned from, and he respects very, very much.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And so basically it goes from there. I didn't get pictures of this. It skips to him shooting Bib Fortuna at the end of
Well,
season
yeah,
2 of The Mandalorian, and then boom, he's awake, and I think there's a robot there that says, "Congratulations, sir, you're completely healed."
100%.
Yeah,
You're
or
healed.
100%, whatever.
100%, whatever it was, but he's 100% healed. Yeah, so
Yeah,
no more bath time for him.
yeah.
So
So we
therefore,
don't,
no more flashbacks.
and that's what I think. The end of the flashbacks, as great as they were, that's it. They have to be done. So
They set everything up, right? Like really, like they set up the Pikes, they set up the confrontation with the Pikes and the Tusken Raiders. You know, everything's been set up. They got Fennec Shand. There's no mystery that's not been told now, so
right,
we're all caught up.
right. So next scene is Garces Bar.
Yes,
And you see all the people having fun, except for one
this
guy.
guy's grumpy. Maybe his dreadlocks are too tight or something. But man,
So
oh man, he's a grumpy Gus.
drinking alone, and you know why he's grumpy? I didn't get a picture of this. Across from him are a bunch of Trandoshans having fun playing a game.
Yes, they
He's
were. They're having a great old
angrier
time.
and
Some kind of
game.
roulette game, card game, or something.
Yeah,
They were having fun,
I
partying,
know. As soon as I saw,
celebrating. He didn't look
yeah,
happy. You know, he's drinking. I love the second time he's taking the swig. It's like all pouring down his chin, right? He just didn't. He just looked cheesed. It was so
yeah.
good.
So
Like
then he had enough, and he goes up and he just attacks them all. These
it just
Trandoshans.
starts beating the snot out of him.
That was fun. Oh, you saw when he's getting frustrated and shows his hands, and he's doing this, and they're called knuckle dusters.
Yeah.
Are getting ready, and I thought this is going to be great. The problem I had with the fight is he's throwing people around. I didn't see him smash anyone in the face, like punch anyone.
Well, I thought he smashed somebody in the face. I'd have to see it again, but
Yeah, I thought he was just kind of throwing them around the tables. Like I said, but like before we went live, I was like, obviously it's Disney. They're not going to have, the punch and the blood going flying
that'd
out.
be great. It'd be so good. I just finished watching I've been sick the last 2 days too, so I've been in bed constantly. I just finished watching the Punisher season 2, and every time you punch, there's blood splattering everywhere. So I was a little disappointed when I don't see blood splattering right now because it was pretty cool.
It's for the kids, dude.
It's for the kids. I know.
The kids do. So and there was that one point where he grabs the one Trandoshan. He's
This
got him in
was
that
so good, Steve.
He's got him in a Boba Fett hold where he was going to crush Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And then Garce herself comes out, kind of stops it, and she's like, "Oh, this is the great Black Chrysanthemum who was the greatest undefeated fighter in the gladiator ring," and she's going on and on about his
pumping his
great knuckle
tires.
dusters. Yeah, she was making him, and you can even see in this look. This is where he's listening to her, and even
He still
the
looks mad.
Trandoshan is looking over. They're both looking at her like, "Huh?" And she goes up and she's like, talking to him, and she says something. You ran up quite a large tab, and I can take care of it if you just let him go and we go our separate ways. And I really love his answer to her.
Yeah.
By ripping the arm off the Trandoshan and then letting him go.
Well, apparently Wookiees can pull your arms off the limbs, they say, right? So
yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh," and she does this reaction like, "Ugh," like Wookiees.
I know, right? Well, the fact that you always hear about Wookiees pulling off arms from the limbs, pulling off limbs, you never see it happen. Now
there it is.
Seen it happen, right?
I think it's the first time, and I thought it was funny, right? And then to even put a period in that sentence, he goes over to one of her helpers. There's his tab money. And it's like, no, I can do this. So I decided. So, and meanwhile, Boba Fett is in the doorway.
Watching
the whole thing. And
watching the whole thing go down. Yeah.
I just remember he's like, and stuff. And I wish still, I'll say this. I wish when Boba goes out into the city, not at home, he wears his helmet and doesn't take it off. Because he does not look as intimidating with it off. It's like, look, it's friendly Boba Fett coming to visit.
I agree 100%. We know who he is. We see enough of him without his helmet on. You're out in public, wear your helmet all times. I agree 100%, Steve.
Yeah.
I don't know why Mandalorian they've been doing so good to keep that helmet on. Now I'm worried now that he's revealed his face, they're going to take it off all the time. I'm really worried about it in season 3. But it'd be nice if he keeps his helmet on more. I agree,
right.
100%.
Well, he's probably going to leave it off now. He'll probably be more along the lines of that other group of Mandalorians, right? Because he came from kind of a secluded kind of
Yeah.
sect of it. But I like this look when he's leaving.
Yes.
And it was sort of like a hey or like a nod, because it's like he's still not fond of Boba Fett, but
he knows that he was released and spared and all that sort of stuff. So
it's funny. The actor that is in the suit is 6'7". I looked it up.
Oh, really? Only 6'7"? Not 6'7"
think.
small or anything, but
yeah.
So he looks like he's a big boy.
He's huge. So another thing too is after this and BK is leaving, Garza yells out, "Play it, Max."
Oh yeah,
so
play
it's
Max.
Yeah, Max Rebo.
Max Rebo. Yep.
So, and I wonder if that was kind of an homage to "Play It Again, Sam."
It probably is. I didn't pick up on that, but now that you say it's like that seems like so bang on.
Because I remember people like when this in that one episode when we first it was like what episode 1, episode 2's. Anyways, people were like, "Oh, are we going to assume that all of that race is Max Rebo?" Confirmed though. So
confirmed.
Episode.
It could be the same guy. No, were they in Jabba's barge when they went to was he in Jabba's barge?
He was in Jabba's barge,
and
so he obviously survived. Because a lot of them were just jumping ship, right?
Well, I guess when the fighting started, I imagine they could have jumped ship for sure.
Yeah, they're musicians, man.
They're not staying for the fight, absolutely.
They're lovers, not fighters.
Exactly. They're here for the gig money, right? They're here for the gig money and the beer.
Yeah, and I forgot. I forgot to do this. Anyways,
BK is. I don't think anybody's getting tired of seeing BK. I'm pretty sure we'll say more BK.
Yes, we need more. Well, we're gonna see him for sure.
Oh, Jeremy just updated here. He said, if you want to put that up there, Steve. So yep.
Max Rebo and the boys got out.
So Jeremy has some insider intel, obviously, that he knows they made it out.
He was.
He must have checked their Twitter feed or something. It's on Instagram.
He worked for the Tatooine Times.
There you go.
Yeah, and it was all the news, and they were witnesses. And they were like, I don't know, some kid in a black outfit, he was just kicking everyone's ass. And someone made a really good comment. I was watching a video, and they were talking about that, and they were like, it's Boba Fett's fault that he closed the distance between him and Luke Skywalker. That was his own fault. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he got so close to this. Well, I mean, he probably didn't know he was a Jedi. He probably had no clue about what was going on.
He wouldn't know exactly. And quite frankly, last time we saw a Jedi, he was a little kid, right? And probably thought they're all wiped out.
Yeah. I mean, someone had said this is his own fault for being dumb or something to close the distance with Luke Skywalker. Doesn't make sense. So we finally get to the scene. So Boba's going to meet with all the crime lords in the city. Finally, this scene we've been talking about. When are we going to see this scene?
We saw this in the trailer, right? Yeah, the very first trailer. Yeah.
So he's talking to them, and of course, he's got BK there as a bodyguard with his blaster. In this scene, that's what Boba Fett makes the deal. Like, you all, we all work together to fight against the Pikes. And they're like, nah, the Pikes aren't bugging us. It's just you. And he's like, okay, well, at least agree not to
interfere or stay neutral. That's what stay neutral.
Stay neutral.
That's what stay neutral. Yeah.
And the one guy's like, oh, why don't we just kill you now? And
then a negotiator helped out.
Yes, this guy.
Yes, the negotiator. Yes,
the Rancor. I totally forgot about it until he burned.
It totally slipped my mind too. Like I didn't think of it until like, oh yeah, right, the Rancor, right. I thought it was a nice little touch, and everybody seemed to take notice after that. Steve, you notice that?
They'll start listening.
The table got lifted up, right? The whole grate got lifted up a little bit, right? It's like, oh yeah,
it's pretty awesome. I had thought, and I think I said this to you before we went live, that when they were like, nah, we're not going to do this deal, that's why he was there for and carrying a rifle this time, like a blaster rifle, and that he was just going to kill every single person at that table.
I thought that was going to happen too, Steve. I really thought he was going to, like, especially the guy at the end of the table, the guy that, the guy looks like he's Jeepers Creepers guy.
Yes.
So God, yeah.
Well, he was the one that said, why don't we just kill you? This guy at the end of the table, he's like, we could just kill you.
He looks, doesn't he? Have you ever seen the movie Jeepers Creepers? That's what that's what the creature looks like.
Yeah,
kind of.
So that's what I thought that BK was there for. That Boba was going to look at him, and then he was just going to like pew pew everyone at the table, and then he was going to say, "Okay, well, maybe your henchman will come work now for me." But
yeah, exactly.
He did this weird deal. I still think was soft, right? It's the Tuscans' fault. Where they're like, the problems in the city, so he's going to go clean it all up to convince them to work with them. It's like, man, he should have just had BK blast him, and then he could feed him to the Rancor down below.
Well, he wants a rule of respect.
Respect. So we kind of come to the finale where, as all the gangsters are leaving, Fennec and Boba are talking about what they're going to do, and she's like, how much money is it basically do we have, because we might want to buy some muscle. And as she says that, he's like, yeah, maybe we should. And they start playing the Mandalorian music.
Yes, you picked up on that too. Okay, it just wasn't me.
Yeah, so we know this is all leading back.
I definitely picked up on that for sure. When I heard everyone, I was racking my brain. They haven't used the Mandalorian music in the rest of the episodes, have they?
No, not once.
No. So then obviously that's a good little hint for sure. I would think anyway.
Wait, didn't they? No, I have to look again. When he was seeing the flares off in the distance, did they have Mando music? That little.
I don't remember hearing. I don't remember hearing it there, but I do remember it says, when they said we got money, we should buy some hired help, and then.
I don't think this was a shock to anyone that it was going to be the Mandalorian, but it's how it's going to be.
Jeremy just had an update here. He says that they did play a bit of the music when they show the second flare.
The Slayer, yes, yeah. Okay,
you were right.
I thought that because I thought, because that was showing us like, oh, this is leading into that, and then he shows up with Fennec there, and of course that bantha was so slow, it took forever to get there.
Exactly right. I apologize, viewers at home, that I didn't pick up the music. I have to watch again. I apologize. Maybe I did notice it, but I just forgot about it. I am running on 2.5 hours of sleep last night, but I've been up since 2 a.m. this morning, Steve. Woo! It's been a long day.
It's Friday though. It's Friday. I normally when we do this, it's like, I gotta get up and go to work tomorrow.
So now you don't.
I've got stuff to do, but I talked about this before we went live. Some of my predictions.
Oh yes, you did. Steve has a good set of predictions here. Now, do we want to? Well, you can do it, and you might give it away for people. But again, at the same time, it'd be kind of cool if you're right. He's saying it here, right? Yeah. You want to go for bragging rights? That's what we want to do, don't you?
That's right. That's right. Exactly. So I was thinking. So Boba Fett has BK. He's going to have Mando, right? So he's got some tough mercenaries.
Yes.
Along with whoever else is going to be following, and of course the Vespa gang, who, look out. So I think the Pikes would want to get their own muscle. And I thought, Bosk. We're going to see Bosk, maybe Cad Bane. I don't think so, but Bosk, which would make sense because Bosk and Black Chrysanthemum fought in the comics. And actually, Bosk almost killed him.
So you're saying the Vespa people or the Pike?
No. Like the Pikes.
Yeah, Pikes. Okay.
Yeah, the Pikes would want to hire their own mercenaries, and if they get Bosk, because in the comic, it was in a bar, and Bosk and BK got into a fight, and actually Bosk got the upper hand, was about to kill him, and Dr. Aphra came out and said, "Please don't kill him. I have use for him," and let him go.
Do you know what, Steve? Stop, because you know what, you're getting my expectations way too high, dude. Do you know how much you've heard me say back in the Mandalorian days how awesome it would be to see Bosk? Well, I've been
Yeah,
asking for Bosk and Dangar, right? I've been asking for those two guys. So if I saw Bosk and fighting BK, stop it.
right.
Just stop it. It's like
But
stop it, Steve.
Dengar, if they got Dengar, I don't know if they keep to like some kind of canon or old canon or comic stuff. Dengar and Boba were buddies, so maybe they wouldn't bring him in, and maybe Cad Bane, no, because I think they might save him for like Ahsoka or something else, like
Yeah,
something
that
big.
makes more sense. He's more related to
But
yes.
Bosk makes sense.
Boss, well, yeah. Again, I'm not saying Dangar should make an appearance, but I'm saying this is what I've been asking for, right? I'd love to
Yeah,
see him live action, moving, interacting with characters instead of just standing there, right?
right. So yeah, and it's looking like if they get into this big battle in the city and it comes down to it, I said this to you before. Here's my long shot prediction. What's going to happen in the end? I'm skipping to episode 7. Boba Fett either dies and it gets handed over to Fennec Shand, or as they're being overrun by the Pikes and their baddies, the female Tusken shows up with a whole Tusken army, like thousands of them, and they come in and they help and defeat the Pikes and kick them out. And when everyone's dusting themselves off and celebrating, Boba Fett um, takes off his armor, jumps on the bantha, and goes with the female Tusken and all the Tuskens out into the desert and gives up that life, because that's what he was going to do. He was saying that in a conversation with Fennec Shand, that because she was questioning, why would you want to be, kind of a crime lord? You were a hunter, and he said, I was going to give it all up,
Right.
For the Tusken life. And I think that's what might happen. He might just off into that sunset with the two suns, like when you first saw him in Mandalorian. And that's it for Boba Fett.
Now, I'll give you
Maybe.
those
I
two.
don't know. I'm
Those
probably
are two
way
solid
wrong.
predictions. So my situation is, you do that, you're taking Boba Fett kind of out, especially if he gives up the armor. If he gives up the armor, for one, if he's dead, or if he gives up his armor, that kind of takes him out of future possible tie-ins to
Yes.
movies
Yeah.
or series. I don't know if they now if you go through all this work to bring him back, why just kill him off right away?
Yeah.
So that's what
Yeah.
my thinking is. But again, both solid. I do like the idea of your theory of her coming back with an army of Tusken soldiers. I can see that. I can see him leaving and leaving her in charge. I can see that for sure.
Right.
Because you were saying that it's only 7 episodes. It's 7 and done. They're not doing more
7 and
after
done,
this.
from what I understand. It's like Kenobi is 6 episodes, or is it 10 episodes? I think Kenobi's 10.
Okay, but even like,
And that's it.
but we know that's one and done. So if this is one and done, then I think having a greater big impact ending, it probably won't be a cliffhanger ending like Mandalorian has been, right? So,
Right.
so yeah, so I think if your facts you're saying are true
Right.
or on point, then yes, I think those
Yeah.
possible
Or
theories could.
maybe he keeps the armor, right? And it's kind of, and maybe I'm wrong because it's hard to sell toys to Boba Fett when he's not around, right?
Or Jeremy says maybe season 2 will be called The House of Boba
Oh,
Fett.
yeah. That would be good. That would be good. Yeah. Boba Fett and Kenobi were supposed to both have movies. And because of the problems with movies that were released, Iger put a stop to it and
What movie?
wanted to slow down.
What movies are you referring to?
Last Jedi,
Oh,
and the solo movie didn't do great because of
the
that
solo movie.
movie.
Well, I know the solo movie tanked because of the freaking Last Jedi.
Yeah, and so Iger said, "Okay, we got to slow down," because their whole plan was a movie every year, projects,
Yeah,
maybe one, maybe two a year, and Iger said, "Slow it down." So the Boba Fett movie was scrapped, the Kenobi movie was scrapped, and then the Boba Fett movie became the Mandalorian
yeah.
series. And John Favreau went to Iger because he had an idea.
And it's
So
possible, like again, they were kind of oversaturating the market, kind of, maybe, possibly, perhaps.
right,
It's hard to say because Marvel's got 3 movies a year coming out now, and they seem to be doing well still. They're still printing money. So
I mean, they're making movies make money. Like if you look at even the Star Wars movies, the Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, you know, making over a billion and a half, but I don't think they made profits that made Disney happy because of the money put into it, the marketing, the expectation, et cetera, et cetera. So they have these expectations that they run on, and when they don't meet those, their shareholders are like, Star Wars, why didn't you make $3 billion off this?
Also, backlash too, right? There's a lot of backlash over those two movies, last two,
Oh, yes.
the prequels, right? So, backlash is bad, but bad reports is bad. Because it's a harder set. Like you can clearly see how the Solo movie, I think, struggled because of how bad the Last Jedi was.
Yeah, that definitely affected it. It wasn't what did they call it? Star Wars fatigue at all. It
Yeah.
wasn't that. So
I thought it was a great movie, and obviously
I
Jeremy
liked it.
liked
Yeah.
it too, right? So again, I didn't care that it was a different, not Harrison Ford. I thought we talked about this before, but we both thought it worked well, and I would love to see a Solo series. I would watch that.
Yeah. Or you know what? Even if they had a series of I'm back to the whole underworld or like the smugglers thing where they're
Yeah,
not established characters. Maybe have a Lando show up or this character show up, but
yeah,
not have anyone like if the Solo movie wasn't about, like, it wasn't called Solo, it was called,
something
you know,
else.
something, the smugglers or something,
Yeah,
Star Wars the Smugglers,
yeah.
that would have did amazing. But
It,
2 years before that, when they announced they were going to make a Solo movie, people already said nope and hated it instantly.
yeah, you're right. That's exact. People are hating on it before it even got released. Absolutely.
They yeah, and I just think that like Woody Harrelson's character, especially, God, I love that character,
Hmm.
and that would have made a great series, even, or a good heist movie with non, you know, characters that we're used to. So
Yeah.
that was their mistake. That was their mistake.
Yeah, it is what it is, but it's happened. It's in the past, and they're moving on. They're trying to do things in the right direction, and hopefully they continue. Right. So
Yeah,
there's been a
yeah.
lot of good, and and again, I see. I'm not reading. I don't buy too much into it, but I see a lot of negative posts about the Book of Fett. Yes, there's last two episodes. There's a couple of things I really didn't like. I thought the first two episodes were really solid. Overall, I'm really enjoying the series. Is it
Mhm.
as strong as maybe the Mandalorian? I can't say it is, but so far I'm still really enjoying it. Like whether you're saying like some people are criticizing saying the story's slow, I'm still enjoying it. I really am enjoying this
Mhm.
this look at Boba Fett. I'm enjoying the world. Would I like to get off of Tatooine one day? Sure. Like to spend some time on Hoth? Absolutely. But right now we're on Tatooine. Fantastic. That's just like I, Steve. I'm just hoping so much that you're right and Bosk and BK duke it out. If I see
Yeah, they have.
Bosk, I'll be just.
Who's going to go toe to toe with BK?
Oh, just whoa, 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 whoa! I just got a big. What if? What if? What if? What if? What if? They're talking about. We have money. Let's buy some money. What if they brought back all the bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back into this little thing?
Oh, they
Like so,
could.
you have Four
They
Loam
were
and
all buddies, right?
Four Loam and you have Zuckus and you have like all of them.
IG-88.
IG. Like how awesome would that be?
Yeah.
And maybe they're on, Bosk and IGA and comic books I've seen, they were kind of buddies. Maybe they're on the Pikes, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you have all the bounty. Oh,
Right.
that
But
would
you
be
have to have something
amazing.
on the other side, right? I don't think Bosk and BK would get along because the Trandoshans
No,
and
that's what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what I'm trying to say. Bosk and IGA 88 would be on the Pikes. From the comic books, I saw IG 88 and Bosk were kind of pals in the comic books. The ones I have anyway.
That would be good.
That would there's a kind of a fanboy kind of dream.
In the next episode, the very least, we're going to see Boba Fett on a Rancor.
Well, the next episode or next two for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, see, Jeremy thought the same thing, right? Ooh, Danger, the whole lineup that would bring. Yeah, see.
That would be, yeah, we have to see that. I wonder if they're gonna let loose. I mean, you know, Tamara Morrison did say like, "Oh, you wait, episode 7."
So they said.
That's what he was saying, right, in an interview. Like, "Oh, it's going to be big," and I just thought the big is just the Mandalorian. It's like, okay, cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be underwhelming though. I think they got to do something like. Let's face it, the season finale of season 2 of Mandalorian set a pretty high bar.
Yeah.
Right, and this is gonna be the only episode of the only series of Boba Fett you want to go out with a bang, I would think.
Well, yeah, if they're just doing the 7 episodes, I mean, you can't have Luke Skywalker come to this again, so it's got to be big.
Maybe that little Vespa, little speeder bike chase scene in episode 3, maybe that looks so janky because they're saving it for the final episode.
All the money was going into the last episode.
Maybe that. So let's just.
And I'm just hoping the episode's longer than 28 or 35 minutes. So when we see it.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see.
That's awesome. Good episode. Well, I'm glad you're able to make it, Todd, with everything going on.
You know, I can't believe I have not napped at all today, and I feel fantastic.
Wow.
Tomorrow might be a different thing.
That's why.
Yeah, tomorrow. Maybe I just like all show and I don't know it. I think I'm speaking English, but I actually maybe not.
I didn't want to say anything, but
okay, thank you.
I was trying to be polite.
Thanks for being kind.
Well, thanks everyone for watching tonight. Just want to remind everyone, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. That really help us out. And also follow us on our social media. So again, we will see you to discuss probably episode 5 next week. And thanks for joining us. Thanks, Todd.
Thank you, Steve. Always a pleasure to hang out with you, man.
It's time to get some sleep, Todd.
Yes, maybe.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.